we need people to make success, regardless, you need people. And wherever you are listening to this, once there are people around you, those are the people that will determine your success. There was an interview I had a while ago, and I said, you can't have success in isolation, So basically, wherever you are, if you look at, most of the great leaders, politicians, they started from students' union, activists, So I was never into that. I was more into the entrepreneurial side of things. So I don't know, maybe I could have been bigger. Maybe I could have been consumed by the many perils that the Nigerian environment had. However, it was never smooth. It wasn't that it was smooth there, but we thought out of the box and were able to give people something they required. So then the Abacha government was there, things were tough, it was tougher to bring in goods and all that. My brother was here doing IT, he invited me, I tried it. After 1 week, I was lost. I was totally lost in the programming, visual basics, and it wasn't me, it wasn't for me. And I found myself in a real estate firm as an apprentice, and I understudied what they were doing.
And you took it to the next level.
You see, the background I had helped me.
I was going to ask that because I was just going to put a pin on what you were saying. I was like, okay, what did you study in uni? Now, is your attraction to real estate because you studied something relating to real estate, or was it because it's just who you are?
No, you see, I'll go back to my earlier point that whatever you do, you need people. So real estate is not a mythical, it's not science, it's about people, it's about trust. So I can't convince a single chap to buy a 7 or 8 bedroom house. And I can't convince a family of 5 to buy a studio. All we do is match people
at the point of need.
That is it.
Because for real, I've just been through the corridor. You literally have sold some of the most expensive houses in the UK.
Absolutely.
Now, in case you've missed the introduction, we're speaking to Yemi Edun. He's one of the most influential people in Africa, and he's on 2 years running back to back. He's been in the UK power list of the most influential and affluential people we have here in the UK. Now, that is not something you just wake up and achieve, because I've been here in the UK. Now, someone once said that our ancestors was not brought, to foreign land to be taken care of. They were brought here to work hard. So for you to be in that list, for you to be recognized, it means there's something you're doing that is working. There's something worth recognizing. I want to wrap my brain around where you started from in Lagos, the streets of Lagos, to where you are today in the high end of London. What was the most challenging thing you faced from where you started from, coming from your background, not being born in the corridors of power, walking your way through life? Just one.
No, you see, there are so many things. It's a wrap-up of your destiny. I'm a man that believes in destiny. I believe we are all working on a script. And we just pray that script will be allocated a good path. Because the ones that have a not so interesting path, that is just the part they have to play.
I mean, I'm going to drill down on this, because when you say we're working on the script, it makes it sound like it's a mixture of luck. Of course, luck plays a part, but the part you played to get yourself, the dream, the sacrifices you made.
No, you see, there are many sacrifices, but I will be the first to say that I'm not the most hardworking person in the world. There are people that, our NHS heroes are there working 12 to 14 hours shift. There are people in different parks in Lagos carrying 4 bags of rice, but it's a cumulative of being at the right place, knowing the right thing, then the universe aligning, because I came to England at the right time as well. People forget that Nigeria was a pariah nation in the 90s. There was no direct flight. VA was banned from flying to Nigeria. Nigeria was still around then, but couldn't fly because of Abacha. There were sanctions.
Military sanctions.
So things were very tough. However, by the time I came in, things changed in Nigeria. The democracy started. Nigeria was embraced. Telecoms kicked off. Oil price was good, and there was a buzz. There was a buzz. The small contraption we all carry about now. Internet access was there, because when I started, to get information in England, you had to go to the library. You speak to someone you think would know, that don't really know much. So one has just done your bit. When I started off, I was working as a security guard at night, but nobody in my firm knew I was working. I close at 6, they go to the pub every day, and I could not even, because I have to resume somewhere at 7. So I do my 7 to 7 there, and from there I have my bath and go to the office. So there are so many, but I knew that I was going somewhere. I understood that.
So you had a vision, and you were willing to sacrifice for that vision.
Yeah, I knew, and people could tell, they could feel it. People meet you and say, look, this guy is just,
he's got something about him.
Yeah, he's just something different. So I set a date that I wouldn't do those 2 jobs together from the 31st of December, 1999, and so it was, learned fast, but the fact that I was prepared, I was prepared from a very, very good school, which is both at home and on the streets of Lagos. That helped. So when people were doing stuff and they felt, doesn't he understand that, I was looking at the bigger picture. So I sacrificed what I needed to sacrifice. I studied smartly, and I understudied good people. So there were good people that came my way, and
you took your time to study them.
Yes.
So let me make sure my audience got this. So first thing first, we've talked about the fact that you can actually be successful in Nigeria. 2, you had a vision. 3, you made sacrifices for that vision, and then you understudied people who have been successful that you wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times is, again, I'm from Nigeria, and a lot of my experience is going to be either because of the people I'm exposed to, what I've seen. A lot of times we have a younger generation who, when they find themselves exposed to people who are doing or living the life they want to live, they are so focused on what they are going to get from it rather than who they are going to become as a result of it. So they are in the corridor of their dream, of their aspiration, of them getting the future they desire, but they are waiting for you to drop £1 million on their hand. And when they can't get it, they lose sight of, okay, let me understand how this man thinks, how this man behaves, how he plans and calculates. So when you talk about understanding people who've been successful, and then you replicated what they've done, could you throw more light on that? Was it via mentoring, or you just,
No, there are 2 parts to it. There's the role model and there's the mentor. The role model you might never meet, but you can start learning how to speak the way they speak, dressing the way they dress, and just stand out.
Carrying yourself the way they carry themselves.
Absolutely. So the mentors have a role to play, and you have a role to play as well. And I had good mentors. And, I didn't just learn from their success. I actually learned more from their failure or shortcoming. You see, because when we talk, a lot of people talk about success. At times you learn more from the shortcomings of the people you understudy. And I improved on that, I improved on that. I realized that you would make more money being a financial advisor than a realtor. you know. So I didn't forgo the realtor side of things. I, in parallel, seek knowledge in the financial services, and now started what was new at that time, which is representing buyers as against estate agents that represent the vendor. So it was unique. People thought it was mad. Why would anybody instruct you to do stuff for them? So again, stepping out of your comfort zone, and maybe at times not knowing the danger ahead helps, you know.
Putting yourself out there.
People think you are fearless, but you actually never knew the danger, you know. So I had nothing to lose by giving it a go, because I was not good at the IT. And I knew that these guys were making money and they would make money, but what would they need essentially? And
after they make that money, they're going to want to buy houses.
Absolutely.
Properties.
And that was the strategic positioning.
Yeah, one step ahead of them. Because they are going out to make money, but you knew when they make money, they will have needs that needs to be fulfilled.
Yeah, and I think it's worked both ways. I had one client that was here last week, and he said, look, in the relationship, he feels he has actually made more. Yemi's made his fees, but I have actually made more, and I cherish the relationship. So we've been able to create wealth. You know, we've been able to create generational wealth for people, you know, because before my generation got into the financial services space, there were not many black people. And you see, you feel more comfortable sitting down in front of your brother and explaining what you lack, you know, and would help within the confines of regulations to help, you know. So we've helped easily over 1,000 people get onto the property ladder, and to one of the biggest satisfaction in the journey so far is the fact that we now have clients, families that we are dealing with the third generation. And for me, you know, for one generation to trust you, the second one and the third one trusting you,
right.
It's just
you're doing something very
it's just satisfying, you know.
There is something I'd like you to speak to then. With your wealth of experience in property and, you know, all asset accumulation globally, would you advise a young audience who are just starting life to invest? And how would you advise them to invest to grow their money and grow their wealth? I
believe in various classes of investment. Primarily, there are about 5 ways of keeping money. Cash itself, you need cash. Property, stock, commodities, you know. So all the aspects are important, you know, because if you are sick, you won't take the brick to go and pay for medical. You need some sort of liquidity. Stock you can easily sell in 3 days and get your money. Property is one of the best long term. You know, you don't have to buy a property. You can buy a land. You know, just be careful, and you know, review your holdings frequently, because there is always a window to get out. That once you miss that window, you start another cycle. So review for young people. I'll tell you one of the. If this is the only thing you get from this conversation, I think it's worth it. One thing I did from a early age is I looked around me and pinned it down to a few nuggets that are so important in my trajectory. I realized that I needed to have a very, very good accountant as a friend, a very good solicitor. You know, so there are some key professionals that they hold a repertoire of knowledge because of their standing. They get to know what's happening. Bankers will know what's happening. Accountants will know what's happening. Doctors know what's happening. You know, stockbrokers know what's happening. If you have them, And it's not just them being your friends. You two have to have something you give to them that they want to stick by you. And with that, you only make money by getting there first. You know, so it's very, very important to have some key people as friends.
Surrounding yourself with the right
and you grow with them, you know. So that is a very, very important.
Hence why you said you cannot isolate yourself and expect to be successful. I actually stole that quote from you.
Yeah. It's very, very important, you know. So when you are with dynamic people, and one thing I learned from my father is 90 years old, he's still kicking, is having young friends, you know, because he's 90, all his friends are dead, but he's not bored because he's got friends 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, and it keeps you evergreen. You know, you're able to use the tools of the day.
Every generation tend to think slightly differently.
Absolutely, and the tools will always change, you know. So for you to keep alive, you need to keep it fresh.
Reinvent
and being fresh is having younger people as friends.
Interesting. So in that case, there are a few more questions I want to ask you. Well, how do you decide which friend is right for you at the time? Because we live in a world where a lot of our younger generation, the people they call them their friends, are influencing them in the wrong direction. So how do you decide that which friend works for you? Were there friends you made at a time that did not work with the direction you're heading, and how do you navigate that?
Absolutely. First thing is to have an idea of you. Because if you have an idea of you, you start setting parameters. Those parameters is what some people call discipline. So I won't knock any type of friendship, you know, because there are some people that you might need on a bad day. So, but you keep the most relevant ones closest to you.
Circle.
Yes, you know. And over time, there are some friends that we just drifted away, you know. Some we drifted away for many years and came back, and it's like we never lost touch. Some probably would never be the same. So once you identify where you're going, it would influence your friends, even your partner, even the way you speak, the way you dress, and the way you even eat and where you eat. You know, so it's not a journey of one day, and I don't want people to think,
it shapes you basically.
Yeah, and it's not for everyone. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about entrepreneurial and all that. I have friends that are not entrepreneurs and don't desire to be entrepreneurs, but they are successful in their own right.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the QC equivalent in Nigeria, the SANS.
Yeah.
There are people that get it by advocacy, and there are people that get it by academics. So because you don't go into courts does not mean that you cannot be a son, you know. So, and that's the same thing with life. Running a business is not for everyone. But remember that Bill Gates has a number 2, number 3, number 4. And I dare say they are not poor.
Absolutely. So basically, there are different ways to get to that goal of success, that end goal. There are different ways to get there, not just only through entrepreneur. You could actually be employed and get there. You just need to be focused on where you're heading to, and then know yourself, and that will allow you or direct you towards the people you bring into your inner circles.
Absolutely.
In case you've missed the start of this, we're speaking to Yemi Edun, one of the UK most influential Black African Caribbean individuals for the last 2 years, 2021, 2022. He deals with property here in London and has been part of the process of selling and buying some of the most expensive properties in London. Now, as you may have heard, he started from Nigeria in the streets of Lagos, and he's giving us wisdom on how he started and how he got to where he is today. Now, Yemi, I want to take you back one more step. You did mention you came here to study. There are so many international students coming to the UK and to other countries every year. How did you move from that point of when you finish your master's, your study, to integrating into the society? Because it's quite difficult. I went through that journey. I came here to do my master's, and then when you finish, you then have to get a job, and then you start thinking, okay, how do I grow from here? And we know there are so many roadblocks, if we're being realistic, from an international student point of view. How did you navigate that? I know this is so many years ago.
No, I didn't come in to study for masters. I came in for professional, the IT stuff. But when it didn't work, I went into the apprenticeship for real estate. But in that, right, I now went to the through the professional routes to become a financial advisor. So things are a lot easier now because of information.
Most students won't believe that.
No. I never believed in my time that when people before me said it was easier, and this might actually be our best time, because 3 years ago we were talking of Brexit. That lasted 3 years. We ended that January 2021. COVID started in March. We ended COVID 27th of February. Putin invaded Ukraine. So, and that's why we should focus on what we have control over. I realized that I wanted to be this, right? And there was no information on how to go about it. It was not readily available. But when I met someone that was doing it, I asked questions, and he gave me that information. I tell you this, he gave me the information in June and saw me in October. And I said, I've passed my CMAP. He said, oh, that's good, you passed level 1. I said, no, I passed level 1 to 4. And it was like, what? Because I was always prepared. I just didn't have the information.
You were hungry.
So when I had the information, I just went all out for it, So there would always be excuses. And I can tell you this, I've had people that have been with me in my team. These are very intelligent people, driven people, and I've offered and even paid for this same exam for them, but none of them have finished it. So that hunger must come from within. I was paying for myself, and I cleared it in a record time. And so there would always be an excuse not to do it. The good thing about, where I feel most of the audience come from is that most Nigerians don't have a problem reading. But you see, what are you studying for? Are you studying just to be another one? Or are you studying at your strengths? What is your strength? If you go the way your strength is, the sky is the limit, and nothing will stop you.
That's key. That's key. So the challenge is not that we don't have the drive or the zeal to study or to even go out there, but are we playing in line with our strengths, or are we just throwing away, misdirecting our energy in the wrong things?
I think that it's more of wrong direction, because if I had struggled and just stayed in that IT zone, I would have just been just another person.
One of lots.
Yeah.
Well, here you are. Yemi, thank you for your time. I know we don't have much time, but I want to talk about something else. Of course, most people knows you from the property guru whole thing, the power list, but you're also very committed to charity. I want you to throw more light on your passion towards charity, and then we'll close with your football passion.
Charity, like the great man said, is our rent for living on earth. And, it's painful that we come from somewhere that a lot more can be done. I'm a very thoughtful person. There are reach out we do because the individual is our relative, is someone close to us, is someone that we know. But what I realized in that is that they always come back. But charity that is unsolicited and to people you don't know, I think it's more poignant and it goes further because they are not sure if they would ever get a second opportunity. I looked at the landscape of Nigeria and I realized that where can one fit in? Is it running a political program or a social program? Some people are called to be political leaders. And I looked at the diaspora, and I've been fortunate to deal with people from all over the world because of the cosmopolitan nature of London. And I realized that they do a lot as a community for their people. I just want to juxtapose where we are today. Ukraine is facing a humanitarian crisis. And from the president to the diasporan Ukrainians, even in my WhatsApp group, in my neighborhood, we have one Ukrainian there, and he has made the difference to get everybody to donate. If Ukraine was Nigeria, Nigeria has been devastated by fugitives and bandits and whatever in the last 5 to 8 years. We in the diaspora, what have we done to put it out there? You know, so people will bandy numbers that the diasporan transfers to Nigeria is bigger than oil revenue. But what are those monies for? It's to build your own house, you get cheated, you help people that will come back again. If we can come together as a group, I think we can do a lot more. You know, I've seen this play out amongst, look around London, the Somalians, they've got different, we are not even planning for our own future. Even here, we don't have any community center. We don't have anything as a group. If you want to advertise to the Nigerian community in the UK, there is no medium for it, both online and on paper.
And yet there are a lot of Nigerians here, a lot of Nigerians outside of Nigeria.
You have a lot of our doctors being picked to come and work here. But those doctors are a product of that society, and that society subsidized them. Because for you to study medicine in the UK, it's going to cost you between 40 to 50,000 pounds. Some people go to school in Nigeria that cost them less than 500,000 naira to study medicine. Then they come here and they are still some of the best doctors, despite the infrastructure deficiency in Nigeria. But you know what? Nobody pays anybody to replace those infrastructure.
So we need to do more.
So as a people, you know, government, there are countries that their government has failed, but they are still functional. You know,
we are technically, we are all the government. We all have equal responsibility, certain responsibility to an extent. Of course, there are things the government should do, and there are things that we as citizens should do, whether you're in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria.
So what we did in 2020 is come together, got some friends, and said, look, let's just put something together monthly. Let's just do it consistently. It doesn't matter if it's 10 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds. And people came together, and you know, we've been able to start impacting. We started from wheelchairs, adopting teachers, because if you adopt a teacher, it's like adopting 40 children for the students, you know, because a good math teacher usually will be good in physics, biology, chemistry, and a good English teacher will be good in the humanities, like literature, history, government, and all that. So I don't think this is a no-brainer. You know of my birthday. You know, I used the opportunity to raise money. We raised 53,000 pounds. You know, with that, each wheelchair costs about 100 pounds. Look at the number of wheelchairs. We could have just had that per day and everybody go and marry. But we're giving someone
Changing lives.
So I think we can do a lot more in the diaspora. So people pay for gyms and don't even go to the gym.
Oh yeah.
People pay for Sky and don't even watch the Sky.
Oh yeah.
You know, so we're talking of £50, £100, and you don't need to join mine. You can start yours. We'll still support it, because if we have 10,000 of this, it's not enough.
This is a topic that's on a good day I want us to like drill down. Now, for people who have never heard about your charity and what you're doing, what's the name of your charity? How do we reach you? Email address, phone number, website?
Okay, it's Action for Change and Empowerment. So it's aidsgiving.org. You know, ACE giving, GIVING.org. And, you know, there is no frills, no, you know, we just want consistent. If it's £10, let's do it. So, and it's a charity that everything is voluntary. Nobody takes any money from, everything goes for purpose. We want to try and build this and change the narration. And I think we can replicate this, you know, in various forms. Some might focus on women, some can focus on students, some can focus on bursary, on, you know, different things. You know, we shouldn't wait for a crisis like Ukraine is facing before we start. You shouldn't try to give the dead befitting when the living are not.
Yeah, it says stitching time saves 9.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Thank you, Yemi. One last one. So a couple of years ago when I arrived in the UK, I used to go watch Arsenal almost every week. And I thought Yemi was an Arsenal fan because he had a box at the Emirates. I later realized that Yemi is a massive Chelsea fan, actually the one who paid for me to go watch Champions League final between Chelsea and Man City in Porto. Let's talk about your football passion.
Yeah, you know, for most Nigerians, football is the default sport of choice. And I grew up in Surulere. Surulere is where the National Stadium is situated. And I saw my first game at the age of 10 live. These were the days of black and white TV. So going into that stadium, the lush green, I said a prayer. God, I would love to do this way. And I think the angels were not too far away. I've been to the last 5 World Cups. Football has taken me far and wide. And it's moments that really I properly switch off and stay tuned to the beautiful game. And most people in my family support Arsenal. So I think it was more from a rebellious and not following the head standpoint, coupled with the fact that most wonderful player, Ruud Gullit, signed for Chelsea around 94. And he became the manager, brought a little magician called Gianfranco Zola. And after the 96 Atlanta victory of Nigeria, they signed Celestine Babayaro. Celestine later became a friend, a very good friend. And we've been blessed, regardless of what anyone says. Roman Abramovich has added value.
Oh, massively.
You know, a lot of value. He's a wonderful club owner. That part I know. I wouldn't have an opinion on other parts, but that bit I know. And he committed his soul and pockets to the club, you know. So it's been a very, very good experience. I'm looking forward to the World Cup, you know.
Qatar.
Football has brought joy, has brought...
it unites us all.
It unites strange fellows. And again, you have to realize that in a city like London, that usually would have at least 6 clubs in the Premiership every season. There are not many industries that pay as good as what footballers earn. It would be silly for me not to be involved in that space as well. So there are not many hobbies you have that you make money from. So I enjoy it, and I am able to influence and support some of the best known names you know the world would ever see. So it's a partnership that is working.
Nice one, nice one. In case you missed the beginning, we've been speaking to Yemi Edun, one of the UK in the last 2 years most influential people from Africa, Caribbean descent. He's committed, passionate with sports, football particularly, passionate and committed to charitable giving. He's from Nigeria, started from the streets of Lagos and is based here in London. One whom presidents have knocked at his door, taking his time and views on some significant issues. He's told us his story, how he started, how he got to where he got to today. Now, just to conclude this interview, Yemi, I want you to leave one message for the younger generation, the youth who follows our platform, Insight. What would be your one message of advice to them?
Well, you know, I think all that we've touched on one way or the other, but one message would be look up, brace yourself, and give it a go. You know, if you give it a go, then the universe can align and magic can be done. And you asked for one, I'll give you another one. There are poor people in Dubai. There are very poor people in Saudi Arabia. There are so many homeless people in the streets of London. There's money wherever you are. The richest black person on earth is not living in the UK or the USA. So let us be guided by our strengths, not what we see.
What we see. So basically, you can be successful wherever you are. Someone once said that which you have at your disposal at this very minute is enough to get you started. And if you fail to get started, you cannot become great. You only need to get started to get better, and then you become great. Yemi, thank you very much for your time today.
It's a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure having you on our platform. Thank you for hosting us. We hope to have you again and to get more wisdom and more knowledge from you.
It will be a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.